let's welcome in our friends, JD, we are getting. Pete, let me start with you. The FBI director bringing back the I word, imminent. Was his appearance last night more an effort toward political inoculation than true homeland preparation?
Well, I hope not. I mean, when I served on the Intelligence Committee, JD, and when I was the chair, threats to the United States, they could have been chatter, an increase in chatter, or specific incidents or events that they wanted to make happen. And, you know, I hope that we're not at a point where the director of the FBI is doing and saying something to provide some political cover for an administration, you know, 4 weeks before an election. That's unconscionable.
Well, JD, let me go to you because this imminent word was bandied about with the start of these airstrikes, and Pete just recounted how difficult it was during his days chairing the Intelligence Committee to really quantify imminent. In your mind, where do things stand?
JD, thanks for having me on the show today. Well, I think you see a bipartisan sense of the country that both Republicans and Democrats agree that something could be imminent. Senator Feinstein was on the other day just talking about the fact that before 9/11, there weren't that many signs that they saw before the actual attacks. We didn't really know what Al-Qaeda could do until they did it. So I think ISIS is much more capable. We already know there's about 100 Americans or more over there in Iraq and Syria fighting alongside them, and several thousand Westerners of those 30,000 fighters that ISIL has. And so these people have U.S. passports, Canadian passports, European passports. They could easily come back and strike us. We know there was one young man from Florida. He was 22 years old, born and raised there in Florida. His mom was American, dad was Palestinian. He went over there to fight in Syria. He blew himself up in a truck bomb outside of a Syrian military base. And so we know these guys could come back and strike us. And so I think we do have an imminent threat before us. I would just hope that the FBI is as transparent as they can be with us.
Pete, about a minute left. I just editorialized about what the FBI director said about American jihadists going over there saying, well, if they have a passport, they're entitled to come back to the country and we'll just keep tabs on them. Shouldn't the president have worked with Congress to get legislation passed to rescind those passports?
Oh, a lot of things. A couple of things. I just want to respond a little bit to JD. JD made a lot of good points. The thing is, all of those things were true 4 weeks ago. They were true 8 weeks ago when, there wasn't an. They either need to revoke those passports or identify those people who have fought with jihadi groups that when they come back to the United States, they're eligible for some sort of criminal prosecution. They are fighting with the enemy.
Well, with that note, and also the note that right now it's 2 JDs against 1 Pete. Now, actually, we're all on the same page, at least in terms of discussing these issues. Gentlemen, we're going to ask you to stay with us because there are more concerns internationally we need to address. The other JD Gordon, and my old colleague Pete Hoekstra will rejoin us to talk more about these topics next.